that. So where does the president really get the authority
to
actually have these faces in the cabinet?
These are not cabinet secretaries, are they? They are just being allowed.
That's what you're asking.
They are cabinet level appointees, which happens, but they are not members of the cabinet.
But they are telling me.
No, but the
I think
it's not a
They may
cabinet
have been
level
on the
or
second
akin
row
to.
at the back.
I think it depends on, in any meeting, normally you would allow some experts to be in attendance.
Advisors.
Experts, if you had a board meeting, if he was having his board meeting of one of his blue chip companies in the Nairobi Stock Exchange, he would, in the board of directors meeting, have in attendance technical people from finance, from personnel, from marketing, or whatever. They do that. That happens in any meeting. They are experts, whether it's in the military or executive or boards or this happens. So it's about what exactly this swearing in was about. If you're putting these people at the level of a cabinet secretary in terms of their roles, then it's wrong, because you are expanding, the cabinet by circumventing the law. You are not announcing the person is a CS, but in essence, you are swearing them in as a CS. They sit there in their respective capacity as, But if the person is simply appearing once in a while in a meeting to shed light on a particular subject, that in attendance, to provide some technical expertise or whatever is allowed. So we want to know what exactly this swearing in. I have not understood what exactly.
How did they do it with the Tuju in the last government?
They did with Tuju, Mbadi, there are a lot of people, but Tuju, that's why there is a case.
Mbadi
people went to court.
Succeed, but Tuju.
That's why people went to court. Yeah. And the court ruled that it is illegal and constitutional.
But Billow, you had the opportunity to be the cabinet. Me, I will never perhaps be near it. Being a senator, you could have been there. But my understanding, if I'm going to a cabinet meeting are not places for discussions. You're actually asking the cabinet. I've discussed with my technocrats. They advise you. You go through that. At times you have to come with a session of paper or a paper. They have given you that. So you're asking the cabinet for approval or no approval. It goes through a process. So what discussions should we be having in a cabinet meeting?
Why would you seek the expert's opinion in the cabinet meeting? Because we believe all these other CSs, they also have technocrats who advises them. So is this a duplication of functions? I wonder also, going with also reasons.
No, you see, one thing which I've seen, which is wrong, and it started with the last administration. Mm-hmm. There is a trend where the decisions in public service that would ideally have been made by line ministries have been moved to the State House. This has happened in this country the last 10 years, and this government just followed what the other one did. So you set up entire teams there of experts. For example, the Economic Council. There are people in Treasury, experts who are mandated to provide that work. Yep. Now you've created another office, yes. Whether it's communications, finance, security. You have created, so in fact, meetings are being held nowadays in the State House, no longer in the ministries. People are going there. Private sector are being called to come and do their presentations in the State House. And so what happened? The risk with this, let me tell you,
is like the one for housing.
The risk with this kind of style of management is that anything that goes wrong or failure to achieve certain results, the buck will stop with the president, because he has taken everything right to his office. And I remember we were advising the former president on this matter. Let decisions be made by ministries. If you want to communicate, use the Harambee House, or use what ministries. They have got prime minister, you have a coordination, whatever. But to bring all decision making up there. So this CS Treasury is supposed to be your advisor. This CS Security is supposed to be your advisor. You have other people who are advising you. So there's duplication of roles. So that one is there. But I think for me, I think cabinet does not mean merely a place where you go and get decisions by the ministries, rubber stamp by the president. I think in cabinet there's supposed to be some dynamism for discussion on issues. What you bring as your ministry may not be accepted
But
in the cabinet. Wait a minute. And because of that, you may, as a minister, be required to convince your colleagues on a matter. And you might need to bring your expert. You might need to bring your someone to try and. So I think once you have allowed experts in the State House to be appointed to advise the president, clearly what it means is that he will have them in cabinet to guide him when cabinet ministers bring proposals in the cabinet. He would want his team to be there so that they can say, no, this is not a good idea. I think the issue.
She's from Kirinyaga.
Yeah, I'll remember. I can see your face. But the name is not downloaded.
Even in the photo, she's there.
Okay.
How can I forget my friend there?
Gentlemen, I think I want to reiterate what I said. That this thing is about what exactly is the role of those people being sworn in. If they are going to have a role bigger than what they actually had, then it must come out in some executive order setting out their responsibility, if it's at the level of a CS. If it is just people being asked to be in attendance to help the president and the deputy to crunch some of the numbers or understand some of the issues, I don't think that's a big deal. I think even in I don't know US, but in Europe they do attend. Even in UK, even political advisors are sometimes asked to attend, cabinet meetings. So so attendance is different from when you are appointing someone to sit in the cabinet.
And
so that's what they need to come out clear and explain what exactly is this people being sworn.